You wake up, eyes wide open, heart pounding slightly. The room is silent except for the faint hum of the night. You glance at the clock, 3:21 in the morning. No alarm, no noise, just an overwhelming sense that something is different. Maybe it is just a restless night, or maybe it is something more. Some call it a coincidence. Others say it is a moment of spiritual awakening. What if this exact moment holds a message meant just for you? Will you ignore it or listen? For centuries, people have woken up between 3 and 5 in the morning without knowing why. Some call it the witching hour, a time when strange things happen. Others say it is the moment when the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is the thinnest. Science offers its explanations: changes in melatonin, stress, or an irregular sleep cycle. But what if this moment is more than just biology? What if it is a sacred call to reflection, growth, or even transformation? Most people, when they wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, do the same thing. They toss and turn, trying to fall back asleep. Others reach for their phone, scrolling mindlessly through social media, distracting themselves until exhaustion takes over. It is easier to ignore the moment than to question why it is happening. Maybe it is not random. Maybe, just maybe, something bigger is at play. Ancient wisdom suggests that this hour is a time of reflection and awakening. In many cultures, it is believed that the universe, God, or your inner self is trying to get your attention. But here is the challenge. Most of us are too distracted to notice. We live in a world that teaches us to fill every moment with noise, so when silence comes, we do not know what to do with it. But what if silence is exactly what you need? All right, let's break this down. Why are you waking up at this time? Is it just your body's natural rhythm, or is there something deeper going on? First, let's look at the science. Studies show that between 3 and 5 in the morning, your body's core temperature drops and melatonin levels start shifting. Your body is in a natural transition phase between deep sleep and waking up, so sometimes people just wake up naturally. Stress, anxiety, or even the digestion process can also play a role. If you went to bed with a lot on your mind, your brain might be processing those emotions in the early morning hours. But if this was purely a biological thing, why do so many people across cultures, across history, feel like this time is special? That is where the spiritual side comes in. In many religious and spiritual traditions, this window of time is considered sacred. The Bible mentions it multiple times. Jesus often prayed in solitude during these hours. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place, where he prayed. Mark 1:35. Many monks and spiritual leaders across different faiths wake up during this time to meditate, reflect, and connect with a higher power. Could it be that this is a moment when the world is quiet enough for us to hear? Think about it. During the day, life is noisy: work, family, social media, obligations. Our minds are constantly jumping from one thing to another. But at 3 in the morning, everything slows down. There are no emails, no texts, no distractions. It is just you, your thoughts, and something bigger than yourself. This is when people have some of their deepest realizations. Great thinkers like Nikola Tesla and Leonardo da Vinci were known to do some of their best thinking in the early morning hours. Creativity flows more freely. Intuition feels stronger. Have you ever had an idea or a solution come to you out of nowhere when you woke up in the middle of the night? That is not an accident. Many cultures believe this is when the veil between the physical and spiritual world is at its thinnest. Some say that spirits, angels, or even God himself use this quiet time to send messages. In Buddhism, it is believed that the early morning hours hold the highest spiritual energy, which is why monks begin their day before sunrise. So what does this mean for you? If you are waking up at this time, maybe it is not just your body going through sleep cycles. Maybe, just maybe, there is something, someone trying to get your attention. Maybe there is a thought, a realization, or a message waiting for you in that silence. Now you have a choice. You can ignore it, roll over, and force yourself back to sleep, or you can take a moment to be still, to listen. Ask yourself, why am I awake? What is on my heart right now? And here is where things get really interesting. Many people who start paying attention to these wake-up moments begin to notice patterns. Maybe the same thought keeps coming back to you. Maybe there is something you have been avoiding. An important decision, an unresolved emotion, a calling you have been too afraid to step into. Or maybe you feel a deep sense of peace, a moment where you just know that everything is going to be okay. Whatever it is, do not dismiss it. There is a reason you are awake. Whether it is a scientific explanation or a spiritual calling, the fact that you are experiencing this means that something inside of you is asking for your attention. So tonight, if it happens again, do not reach for your phone. Do not fight it. Instead, sit up, take a breath, and ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? There is so much wisdom that can be found in these quiet moments. Think about some of the greatest inventions, books, and works of art in history. Many of them came from people who allowed themselves to embrace stillness. The problem is, in today's world, we are so conditioned to be constantly entertained that silence makes us uncomfortable. But real transformation, real answers, come when we step into that silence and listen. The next time you wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning, take it as a gift. Whether it is your mind processing something important, your body naturally adjusting, or something greater speaking to you, do not waste it. Take a moment to breathe, to reflect, and to be open to what comes next. You never know. This could be the moment that changes everything. Have you ever noticed that some of the most profound thoughts, the most unexpected realizations, come to you in the stillness of the night? There is a reason for that. Between 3 and 5 in the morning, the world is at its quietest. There are no distractions, no emails, no phone calls, no responsibilities pulling you in different directions. It is just you, your thoughts, and the silence. And in that silence, something important happens. Your mind is clearer. Your emotions, the ones you push aside during the day, begin to surface. Maybe it is a memory you have buried, a dream you have forgotten, or an idea you never permitted yourself to explore. Most people wake up at this hour, feel restless, and try to ignore it. But what if, instead of ignoring it, you leaned into it? What if this moment is not a disturbance, but an opportunity? Ancient wisdom tells us that this time is not ordinary. In spiritual traditions across the world, this window of time is considered sacred. In Christianity, it is known as the hour of prayer, the time when Jesus himself would retreat to be alone and seek guidance. In Islam, it is believed that prayers made during the early hours are the most powerful. In Hinduism and Buddhism, this time is associated with deep meditation, the moment when enlightenment is most accessible. Even in modern psychology, studies show that our brains are more receptive to creative ideas and problem-solving during these hours. So why do we ignore it? Why do we fight so hard to go back to sleep instead of seeing what this moment has to offer? It is because we are conditioned to see waking up at this time as an inconvenience, not a calling. But here is the truth. If you keep waking up at this hour, it means something. Maybe it is a sign that you are out of alignment. Maybe there is something in your life that needs your attention. Maybe there is a decision you have been avoiding, a relationship that needs healing, or a dream that is waiting for you to finally acknowledge it. Some of the greatest thinkers and creators in history have had their biggest breakthroughs in the early hours of the morning. Nikola Tesla, Benjamin Franklin, and even modern entrepreneurs swear by the power of early morning reflection. They understand something most people ignore. This time is a gift. It is a moment where clarity is possible, where the noise of the world fades away, and where you can hear yourself think. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, do not fight it. Do not reach for your phone. Do not try to push the moment away. Instead, sit with it. Ask yourself, why am I awake? What is on my heart right now? And then listen. Because here is the thing. If you keep waking up at this time, it is not a mistake. It is a message. And the question is, will you answer it? This moment is your chance to pause, to reflect, and to make sense of the things you usually push aside. Maybe you have been feeling lost lately, unsure of your next steps. Maybe you have been stuck in a routine that no longer fulfills you. Maybe you are holding on to something that is weighing you down, and this is your mind's way of telling you it is time to let go. Think about it. How often do we really sit in stillness? Most of us go through our days constantly moving, constantly doing, filling every second with distraction. But in this moment, there is no noise, no expectations, no pressure, just you. And if you let it, this moment can be the start of something powerful. Many people who have started paying attention to these early morning wake-ups have reported experiencing deep clarity. Some have realized they need to change their career path. Some have found healing from past wounds. Others have discovered a new passion, one they had ignored for years. It does not matter what the message is. What matters is that you listen. Whether this is your subconscious speaking, the universe guiding you, or something even greater trying to get your attention, this moment is not random. It is intentional. So tonight, if it happens again, do not dismiss it. Take a deep breath, be still, and ask yourself, what is this moment trying to tell me? Because the answer, it might just change everything. If you keep waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, there is a reason for it. And the Bible has a lot to say about these early morning hours. Throughout history, moments of divine revelation, transformation, and breakthrough have happened in the stillness of the night. Think about it. Moses, Jacob, Samuel, and even Jesus all had profound encounters in the early morning hours. In the book of Mark, it is written, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Mark 1:35. Jesus did not wait for the world to wake up. He did not wait for distractions to come in. He knew that if he wanted true clarity, connection, and strength, he needed to seek it in silence. And it is not just Jesus. Look at Jacob. He wrestled with God at night, and by morning he was a changed man. Genesis 32:32. Samuel heard God calling his name in the night. 1 Samuel 3:03-10. Over and over we see this pattern. Important moments happen in the quiet hours before the sun rises. So what if your wake-up call at 3 in the morning is not just about your body or your sleep cycle? What if it is a divine invitation? Think about how often we miss messages in our daily lives. We are so busy, so distracted, so caught up in routines that we do not take the time to stop and listen. But at 3 in the morning, everything is quiet. There is no traffic, no emails, no notifications demanding your attention. Maybe that is why this is the moment God chooses to speak, because finally you are in a space where you can actually hear. Many people report that when they wake up at this time, they feel something different. Maybe it is a sense of peace. Maybe it is a sudden clarity about something that has been weighing on them. Maybe it is a name or a thought that keeps coming to mind. Do not ignore that. It is easy to dismiss it as just random thoughts. But what if it is not? What if it is guidance? The Bible says in Jeremiah 33:3, "Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know." That is an invitation. It is a reminder that God is always speaking. We just have to be willing to listen. But here is the real question. Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to wake up, to sit in the silence, to ask, God, what do you want me to know? Because if you do, you might be surprised at the answers you receive. And it is not just about receiving messages. It is about realignment. Maybe this wake-up call is happening because something in your life is out of alignment. Maybe there is a decision you have been avoiding, a habit that is holding you back, a path you are supposed to be walking but have been too afraid to step into. This is a call to reflection, a call to action, because the truth is we all have moments when we feel lost, when we feel disconnected, when we are searching for something more. And maybe this moment, this quiet, still, early morning moment, is exactly the time you need to find it. So here is my challenge to you. The next time you wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, do not fight it. Do not roll over and go back to sleep. Do not grab your phone and scroll through distractions. Instead, take a breath, be still, and ask yourself, what is God trying to tell me? Because if you open your heart, if you take that moment to listen, you might just hear the answer you have been searching for. This is not about superstition, it is about awareness. It is about paying attention to the moments that seem small but may hold the greatest significance. We often think that life-changing moments have to be big, dramatic events, but sometimes they come in whispers, in a quiet moment at 3 in the morning, in a sudden thought that feels different, in a peace that does not make sense but feels undeniable. And if you look at history, you will see that many people who changed the world listened to these moments. Leaders, inventors, and visionaries have spoken about the power of stillness, about how their greatest ideas came in the early morning hours. Maybe they were not just thinking, maybe they were receiving. So tonight, if you find yourself awake at this sacred hour, embrace it, sit with it, pray, reflect, listen, because you never know, the answer you have been waiting for may already be there, just waiting for you to notice. If you have been waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning, you might be experiencing something deeper than just a sleep disturbance. This could be a sign of a spiritual awakening. It is not just about interrupted rest, it is about your soul trying to tell you something. But the question is, are you paying attention? Spiritual awakenings do not always come with flashing lights and loud announcements. Sometimes they come in the quietest moments, like waking up in the middle of the night. Think about it. Why this time? Why not in the middle of the afternoon? Why does it happen when the world is silent? It is because that is when you are most open to receiving something greater. Many people who experience spiritual awakenings describe a similar pattern. At first, it feels like restlessness, like something inside them is shifting, but they cannot quite put it into words. Then they start questioning things they used to accept as normal. They feel drawn to different ideas, different people, and different ways of thinking. They begin to notice signs, repeating numbers, dreams that feel significant, or an unexplainable pull towards something new. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Many great spiritual leaders, thinkers, and visionaries have gone through this process. They did not wake up one day with all the answers. It started with moments just like this. Quiet, small, but powerful. Take a look at history. Buddha found enlightenment after years of searching, but it was in moments of deep silence and meditation that he received clarity. Moses had his encounter with God on a quiet mountain. Jesus spent time alone in prayer before making major decisions. There is a pattern here. Awakening happens in stillness. But here is where most people get stuck. They feel the awakening, they know something is shifting, but they resist it. Why? Because stepping into something new is uncomfortable. It challenges everything you thought you knew. It asks you to grow, to change, to leave behind what no longer serves you. And let's be honest, that is scary. Maybe you are waking up at this time because something in your life is calling for a change. Maybe you have outgrown certain beliefs, relationships, or habits. Maybe there is a new path waiting for you, but you have been too afraid to take the first step. The universe, God, your higher self, whatever you believe in, is trying to get your attention. You do not have to have all the answers right now, but you do have to be willing to listen. So what can you do when this happens? First, do not dismiss it. If you wake up at 3 in the morning, do not just roll over and try to force yourself back to sleep. Take a moment to sit with it. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What thoughts keep coming to me? Write them down. Journaling is a powerful way to track patterns in your thoughts and emotions. Over time, you might start to see connections you never noticed before. Meditate or pray. It does not have to be long. Just a few minutes of stillness can help you tune in to what is really going on inside you. Ask for guidance, for clarity. Trust that the answers will come when you are ready for them. And most importantly, be open to change. Awakening is not about staying where you are. It is about growth. It is about stepping into a higher version of yourself. Yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it can be confusing. But it is also one of the most beautiful things you will ever experience. So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night, do not see it as an inconvenience. See it as an invitation to listen, to reflect, to grow. Because the truth is, the answers you are looking for might already be inside you. You just have to be willing to hear them. Too often we look for big dramatic signs that will tell us exactly what to do, but the most important messages often come in whispers, in quiet moments that are easy to overlook. This is why so many spiritual traditions emphasize silence, meditation, and prayer. The world will always try to keep you busy, distracted, and focused on things that do not truly matter. But if you are waking up at this hour, something inside you is asking for more. Maybe it is time to listen. The next time this happens, do not brush it off. Pay attention. Write down what you are feeling. Ask for guidance. Because one day you will look back on this moment and realize it was the beginning of something incredible. So you keep waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning, and now you are wondering, what should you do about it? How can you use this time to create real change in your life? First, do not ignore it. If this keeps happening, there is a reason. It might not be immediately clear, but something within you is asking for attention. Instead of fighting it, embrace it. View this time as a window for growth, reflection, and transformation. Start by simply sitting in stillness. The world is always rushing, always loud, always distracting, but this moment, this early morning hour, is quiet, it is peaceful, it is yours. Instead of trying to fall back asleep immediately, take a few deep breaths. Notice how you feel. What thoughts are coming up? Are they random, or is there a pattern? Oftentimes, the things that surface in these quiet moments are things we have been avoiding during the day. One of the most powerful things you can do is journal. Keep a notebook next to your bed, and when you wake up, write down whatever is on your mind. It does not have to be perfect or make sense. Just write. Over time, you might start seeing connections, ideas that repeat, emotions that keep surfacing, thoughts that demand your attention. This is how you begin to uncover what your subconscious, or even something greater, is trying to tell you. Another thing you can do is pray or meditate. If you are waking up at this time, maybe it is an invitation to connect with something beyond yourself. Many spiritual traditions believe that the early morning hours are the best time for deep prayer, meditation, and reflection. Whether you believe in God, the universe, or just the power of your own mind, taking this time to be still and listen can be incredibly powerful. Some of the greatest minds in history have used this time for creative work. Benjamin Franklin, Nikola Tesla, and Maya Angelou were all known to wake up early, using those quiet hours to write, think, and create. If you feel inspired, try using this time to work on something that matters to you. It could be a creative project, a goal you have been putting off, or even just planning your day with more intention. But perhaps the most important thing you can do is reflect on your life. Ask yourself, am I happy with where I am? Is there something I need to change? Am I walking the path I am meant to walk? These are big questions, but they are important ones. And the early morning hours, when everything else is silent, is the perfect time to ask them. If you keep waking up at this time, do not dismiss it as just a random occurrence. It might be the most important invitation you will ever receive, to pause, to listen, and to realign with your true purpose. So many of us go through life on autopilot. We wake up, go to work, check our phones, watch TV, and repeat the cycle over and over. We rarely stop to ask ourselves if we are truly happy, if we are fulfilled, if we are living with purpose. But waking up at this hour is a chance to break that cycle. It is a chance to check in with yourself and ask, what do I really want? What do I need to change? Some people discover that they have been ignoring their true calling. Maybe you have always wanted to start a business, write a book, or travel the world, but life got in the way. Maybe you have been holding on to a relationship that no longer serves you. Maybe you have been stuck in a routine that is comfortable but not meaningful. This is your chance to change that. Use this time to take small but powerful steps toward the life you actually want to live. Start by setting an intention for the day. What is one thing you can do today that moves you closer to your goals? It does not have to be big. Just one step in the right direction, and if you feel lost, if you do not know what you want, that is okay too. This time is not just about answers, it is about asking the right question. Permit yourself to explore, to wonder, to sit in the unknown. Sometimes the answers come not in loud, obvious ways, but in whispers. The next time you wake up at 3 in the morning, take it as a sign, sit with it, listen, ask yourself what needs to change, and then have the courage to make that change happen. Because of this moment, it could be the beginning of something incredible. If you keep waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning, it is time to stop ignoring it. This is not just another night of broken sleep, it is an opportunity. And if you are ready to embrace it, here are 3 powerful things you need to do. First, take a moment to be still. Most people, when they wake up at this hour, do one of 2 things. They try desperately to go back to sleep, or they grab their phone and start scrolling. Neither of these options helps. Instead, what if you just sat with the moment? What if you took a deep breath, felt the quiet around you, and simply allowed yourself to be? Stillness is not something we are used to. Our days are filled with distractions: work, family, social media, television. But in the stillness of early morning, there are no distractions. It is just you and your thoughts. And that can be a powerful thing. Second, ask yourself a simple but important question. Why am I awake? Is there something on your mind? Is there a decision you have been avoiding? A thought that keeps coming back? Some of the biggest realizations in life happen in moments like this. Many great thinkers and inventors, from Thomas Edison to Nikola Tesla, have talked about how their best ideas came to them in the middle of the night. This is the time when your mind is clear, when your subconscious is speaking, so listen. Do not push the thoughts away, explore them. One way to do this is through journaling. Keep a notebook by your bed. When you wake up at this hour, write down whatever is on your mind. It does not have to be perfect. It does not even have to make sense. Just get the thoughts out of your head and onto the page. Over time, you will start to see patterns. Maybe the same ideas keep coming back. Maybe you realize that there is something in your life you need to change. Maybe you finally find clarity on a problem that has been bothering you for weeks. And third, take action. Waking up at this time is not just about reflection, it is about transformation. If you keep waking up with the same thoughts, the same feelings, and the same emotions, then maybe it is time to stop thinking and start doing. If you feel like you are being called to something bigger, do not ignore that feeling. If you realize you need to change something in your life, do not wait for the perfect moment, because that moment will never come. The perfect time is now. Start small. If you feel called to write, start writing. If you feel called to pray, start praying. If you feel like there is someone you need to reach out to, make the call. Every major change in life starts with a single step, and this moment, this early morning wake-up call, might just be your first step. This is not about superstition, it is about awareness. It is about paying attention to the moments that seem small, but may hold the greatest significance. We often think that life-changing moments have to be big, dramatic events, but sometimes they come in whispers, in a quiet moment at 3 in the morning, in a sudden thought that feels different, in a peace that does not make sense but feels undeniable. The world will always try to keep you busy, distracted, and focused on things that do not truly matter. But if you are waking up at this hour, something inside you is asking for more. Maybe it is time to listen. The next time this happens, do not brush it off. Pay attention. Write down what you are feeling. Ask for guidance, because one day you will look back on this moment and realize it was the beginning of something incredible. Too often we ignore these moments because we are afraid of change. We think, I will deal with this later, or it is just a random thought. But what if it is not? What if this is your sign to take action? Think about some of the greatest changes in your life. Did they come when you were distracted and busy? Or did they come in a quiet moment of realization? Change does not happen by accident. It happens when we are willing to listen to that inner voice, that nudge pushing us towards something greater. So tonight, if you wake up at this hour, do not ignore it. Sit with it, reflect, and most importantly, do something about it. Because this is not just a moment, it is an invitation to grow, to change, to step into something new. And it is up to you whether you accept it. Waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning is not just about sleep cycles. It is not just some random coincidence. It is an opportunity, a moment where the world is quiet, where your mind is open, where something, whether it is your subconscious, the universe, or even God, is trying to reach you. The question is, are you listening? You have a choice. You can ignore it, roll over, and go back to sleep. Or you can take a moment to pause, reflect, and ask yourself, why am I awake right now? What is this moment trying to tell me? Maybe it is a realization you have been avoiding. Maybe it is a sign to take action on something you have been putting off. Maybe it is just a reminder that you are not alone in this journey. So here is my challenge to you. The next time you wake up at this hour, do not dismiss it. Take a breath. Be still and listen. Write down whatever comes to mind. Pray, meditate, ask for guidance. Because this could be the very moment that shifts your entire perspective. This could be the beginning of something new, something better, something that finally makes sense. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below. Have you ever experienced this? What thoughts come to you when you wake up in the middle of the night? I would love to hear your story. And if this video helped you see things differently, make sure to like and subscribe so you do not miss more content like this. You are not waking up at this time by accident. Pay attention, stay open, and trust that whatever is calling you in the silence has a reason for doing so.